Welcome back everybody, my name is Tucker, this is Sporting Logically, and today we're doing something just a little bit different. This is something I've been looking forward to doing for a little while, and I plan on continuing to do in the future. Back at the beginning of the year, I made a video talking about great NBA shooters that had ugly shooting forms, and that created a lot of discussion down in the comment section. Some people agreed with the list while others didn't, as expected, but there were a few names that continually came up as players that should have been on the list. As a result, for the first time on the channel, I decided to roll out a commenter edition to showcase your guys' thoughts. Like I said, this is something that I plan on doing more moving forward, so if you'd like to see your comment showcased in a future edition, be sure to leave your thoughts down below, and I'll do my best to put the most popular suggestions into future videos. Having said all that, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start off with an honorable mention of Shawn Marion. He was probably the most suggested player from the first video, but he only gets an honorable mention here simply because the title says great NBA shooters, which I don't consider Marion to be. I still wanted to put him on here as an honorable mention to acknowledge those people that mentioned him in the comments, but again, he just doesn't quite fit the first criteria of the list. Now let's get started with the real thing. Number 1, Reggie Miller. Now this is one that I had to lead with for the simple fact that I planned on mentioning him in the original list, but decided not to because I felt like I was the only person that felt his shot was ugly and that people would absolutely kill me for it in the comments. I even had a script written up, as you can see, and I recorded the audio for his section as well, but cut it at the last minute. As it turns out, I am far from the only person that thought Reggie Miller's release was ugly, as the comment section was filled with people that expected to see his name on the list. His elbow sticks way too far out, and his follow-through has his shooting hand almost go across his other arm for some reason. Even with all that going on, you can't deny that Reggie was a great shooter and clutch player, but man is his release bad to look at. Number 2, Joe Ingles. This is a guy that when I made the original list, honestly never even crossed my mind. Joe Ingles is obviously a great shooter, and I guess you could say his release is ugly, but honestly, how often does anyone really think about Joe Ingles? No offense to him or the Jazz, and obviously the man just got paid, so he's doing something right. But he just isn't that memorable of a player to me, which is why he never came to mind in the first place. I am a fan of his game, being a threat as a playmaker as well as a great shooter, but I just never really thought of him in the first place when thinking about players with ugly forms. However, there were quite a few people that thought Ingles deserved to be on the list. After going back and looking at his release, I don't really have that much of a problem with it. Yeah, his elbow is a bit wonky sometimes, but I think this one is mostly about that bias against lefties that I talked about in the first video. Because we don't see left-handed jumpers as often as we see right-handed ones, we tend to think of lefties as uglier because it just looks different than we're accustomed to. But having said all that, that's just my opinion. And this list is a commenter edition after all. So the people have spoken, and that puts Joe Ingles on this list. Number 3, Larry Bird. Okay, I won't lie, this one really shocked me. Larry Bird is a great NBA shooter, so he has the first part down. When I saw all the comments mentioning his name, I went back and watched a lot of Larry Bird content on YouTube. At first I was watching to see what people would consider ugly about his release, and then I just got caught up in one of those classic loops where I kept watching more and more incredible plays that he made throughout his career. After I finally came out of that loop, I came up with some thoughts on why people might not like his shooting form. First of all, Bird was just a pretty goofy looking dude. The hair, the mustache, his long and lanky physique, so I could see how people could see that translate to his release. He also has a little bit of that over-the-shoulder boulder thrower form I talked about in the first video, which I could see some people perceiving as ugly. So I guess I get it. And although I wouldn't put him on a list like this, I'll concede to the comment section that I could see why some people would find Bird's release ugly to look at. And there you have it, those are some great NBA shooters with ugly shooting forms as mentioned by the comment section. Like I said before, I plan on going back and doing this with a few past videos as well as some in the future. So be sure to leave your comments on each video for a chance to be shown on screen in future commenter editions. Thank you all for watching. If you liked the video, then leaving a like rating down below is a great way to let me know. If you'd like to see more videos just like this each week, then be sure to subscribe to Sporting Logically and hit that notification button so you never miss an upload. Thanks again, and I will see all of you guys next time.